So I just think a big thing for me is just communication. Like, it's huge. Know how to talk to your clients and sort of relate to them. You normally can pick up whether you're going to convert that lead within the first sort of 5 minutes of meeting somebody. If you're going to do something or say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Calling the customers back straight away. Like when I received leads, I know the biggest thing in training was contact your client straight away. As soon as you receive that lead, show up when you say you're going to show up. People deal with other tradies all the time that don't show up on time, and as soon as you're there when you say you're going to be there, you've pretty much already got the job.
Welcome to the Jim's podcast. Today we've got Cameron on, which is great to see you because I remember interviewing you for nearly 3 years ago now, and you're from over in NZ, and I remember I think it was your father-in-law has the region for Hawke's Bay.
Yeah, so Hawke's Bay up the east coast through to Tauranga, he looks after. So yeah.
You're more Horror and Hastings as well as a franchisee. And you sent a really good email to Jim. And what Jim does, he loves hearing positive stories, and he flicks them to me. And it was great that you agreed to come on because I do remember you from training, so it's a good kick for us to sort of hear how well you're doing, in a relatively short amount of time. So how's it all been?
Yeah, really good. We came back from the training in Melbourne before it was in New Zealand. So we were kind of the last Kiwi group to come through to training in Melbourne, which was amazing. It was really cool to actually come over and see sort of the gym's HQ and stay at the campus and do all that, which we loved. But yeah, while we were there, found out my wife was pregnant. So that was cool. And we knew that when we got home, we were going to have to really grind to get the business up and running because we bought an empty franchise with no clients. So my franchisor, my father-in-law, was really, really good at the time. He was like, look, you'll make it work. There's leads coming in. There's a business to build here. So that's exactly what we did. We kind of just hit the ground running, took every single lead that came our way, never said no to anything. Within a few months, we had a regular client base, which was good. It was just me at the time. So I was doing everything. I was push mowing. I was cleaning gutters, water blasting houses, doing building work, doing anything that anybody wanted just to make sure we had the income. Yeah, and then within those first few months, we kind of knew we were going to have a business that we could scale, which I thought would probably take a year or two to get to that point where we would even start thinking about employing staff, sort of being able to grow to that next step. So a lot sort of more rapid than we initially thought it would be for us, which was really cool. Like, it's exciting. You get busy and you think far out, like, how can we get to the next step and the next step, it's been awesome, Joel. Really cool.
And where is your business now currently for people?
So we've got 4 staff plus a subcontractor and myself. The business is running a lot smoother than it was to start with. First staff member was a bit tough, like working out scheduling and making sure clients are being looked after and, making sure things were done the way that we sort of expected them to be done or how I would do them. Now we've got a really good sort of scheduling system. Staff are well trained. Job is being done to a high standard. Really good equipment, which we've bought over time. We started off small and we've grown and we've had to buy new equipment and upgrade machines as we go. Now we're running walker mowers and big 72-inch commercial machines because we do a lot of big scale lifestyle blocks and acreage mowing. So yeah, the business now is amazing. I'm really happy with where it is and where it's sort of moving to, and we're in winter.
And where's your revenue at? I think you said to Jim it was around a certain level. What's your revenue sitting at?
Yeah, so last financial year turnover was getting close to that $500,000 mark, which seems crazy to talk about. And people probably think, oh, like in my lawns. But yeah, no, seriously, I think we did 480 last year, which was really cool. And then this year, wow, we should do a lot more than that. We're on track to do a lot more than that this year. So yeah. Ridiculous. Like, if someone sat in front of a computer and told me 3 years ago that's what your revenue would be, no way.
Despite your father-in-law, then your franchisor as well. It might be.
Yeah, and I mean, they have their own mowing run as well. So my mother and father-in-law, as well as being franchisors, have their own mowing run, and they make really good money themselves. Like, they were saying to me, this is what we make each week, and I'm like, whoa! Like, at the time, that was crazy. Like, there's no way you can make that much money mowing lawns, and they just mow lawns. Like, they do little bits and pieces of other stuff, but mostly it's push mowing jobs. So for me, I was like, if I can make what they're making, I'll be really happy. And now if I made what they made, I think I probably wouldn't be able to pay my bills at the end of the month with our overheads now, So with growth comes a lot of costs. Yeah, you might turn over $480,000 a year, but obviously your costs are higher. And as you grow your business, everything gets more expensive. So, but man, we're really happy with where we're at and where we're going. So hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years, we can be sitting here again, having another chat about how good it is.
It's very impressive. Because how old are you, Cam? You're not very old. How old are you?
Oh, 32. Get in there.
See, no, you're pretty young, mate.
32,
Very,
yeah.
very young. So it's great. It's a great success story to start at 29. And I was going to say as well with the cost, because we always do stuff online and people go, but you've got to give Jim 30%. There's tax. There's this. There's that, and you'd be lucky to make a living wage after all the costs and expenses. So
I know.
Just outline for people what are the typical costs that go into a business like yours.
So, like, depending on how many leads I take a month, and because we've scaled our business with staff, we still take leads because we grow the business to a certain point, and the staff that we've got at the moment are at capacity. We can't take any more work, so then we have to kind of employ someone else. So with leads, we may take sort of 12 to 20 leads a month, and we obviously get charged a lead fee for those. I think it's $12.50, and we pay a fixed fee each month for our franchise fee. Now that can be, I think it's around the $890 to $900 mark here. That stays fixed for the life of your business, basically. So it doesn't matter how much money you make per year. It doesn't matter what your turnover is. Jim just gets that one payment each month. Some of it's broken off the franchisor, some of it's broken off the marketing, blah, 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 blah. So it's all split up. That's what the payment is, and that's what it stays at. So I've heard of plenty of shock stories from these other franchises, which, to be honest, I didn't really look into because of Daryl being my franchisor or my father-in-law. I kind of was like, right, if he's telling me this is what it is and this is what it is, he's not going to set me wrong like I'm with his daughter, But since joining, I've heard shock horror stories from these other franchise companies charging like percentage of your income, and like there's no incentive to grow your business when you're taking a percentage out at the end of the year. Like you might as well be trying to hide your costs so that at the end of the year you're not being punished with all these fees, whereas we don't have that. We can just keep growing and scaling and earning $1 million a year and pay the same fee. So it's great, and I don't know if there's any other franchises out there doing that.
No, there's not many that do flat fee that I know of. But I was going to say as well, Cameron, what are the other expenses just for people? So you've obviously got equipment, you've got your insurance, you've got your fuel, you would have a staff. Obviously, they've got to be paid. Is there any other sort of costs that people might need to be aware of?
Those are the main ones, like your overheads. As any business, you've got those overheads. And in terms of the gym's franchise system, it's just that fixed fee. Obviously, equipment cost is huge. Maintenance cost is pretty big for us. We're running 2 to 3 trucks on the road, so fuel costs are high. Everything's quite high. But to be able to scale and run a business with staff, of course, those costs are going to grow. With those costs growing, you make more money because there's more trucks on the road. There's more income. There's more jobs being done. There's more clients being serviced. So when you relate those costs back to when I started the business, say it was a couple of grand a month in overheads, the money we were making was still super relative to what we make now. It's just on a bigger scale. So we make a lot more money and the overheads come up, but you're still making a lot more money, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And just for people online watching this, you're not going to run a business for $500,000 revenue if you're not making some decent content. So
exactly. Yeah. I would just go back to being a one-man band and making $2.5-3 grand a week. If it wasn't working for me, I would scale back down. But it's working, so we keep doing it. And
it's great to hear and very inspiring for people. And I was going to say as well, looking at your ratings, you've got a perfect 5-star rating with employees, which is not easy to do. So how have you managed to scale your business but maintain the quality service?
So I would spend my first employee I spent 6 weeks on the road with. No joke. I was in the truck beside my first employee for 6 weeks. And so that was the mowing round. At the time, we did that mowing round 3 times. So they met every client, well, as many clients as possible, introduced them. And then I was very strict on how we do things, no matter how big or small the job is. Even if it's a small lawn, a residential lawn, we don't do many of those anymore, but a small residential lawn, it would always do the edges and always blow down and leave the place tidier than when you got there. Those are the main things when people get home. They want to see that a contractor's done the work and it's not something that they could do themselves on the weekends. That's a big thing. I think, for a lawn mowing business is like, if that client can get home, look at their yard and think, I could have done a better job myself, then why are they paying someone to do it? You know, very, very strict on making sure our quality is high, and then we keep our high ratings from our clients. So we haven't had a single complaint due to the jobs not being done correctly. We've had people that have sort of questions pricing and stuff. Like, we are quite expensive and we can be expensive, but there's a reason why. It's because we have the best equipment. We spend the money on the tools. We spend the extra time and go the extra mile for people so that when they get home, the job's perfect. We've never had a price complaint after the job's been done. You know,
My people had me typing earlier. It wasn't because I was being rude. I was looking up on our system just to get the numbers. So
yeah,
the complaints, perfect. You never had one complaint at all, which is amazing. And then the price rating, you're in around the middle. So for customers who don't know, as Cameron knows, we have a price rating. So if someone says it was too much or didn't perceive the quote was too expensive, it's not a complaint. It just gives the class as a price rating. It gives the franchisee like yourself feedback on where you're sitting. So you're around the middle. So not too high, not too low. That's probably the sweet spot to be. But with the perfect 100% customer service rating, not one complaint generated ever in 3 years, which is amazing.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that, to be honest. It's a massive thing for me, and I think I'm really fussy when it comes to that. My franchisor, Daryl, he's like, no one can mow a lawn better than him, in my opinion. Like, he's just so precision, you know, and it's amazing to see that. And I think I get a lot of that from him. Like, I see his jobs, and I think, man, that's the quality that we need to be at. That's the sort of the work that we need to be doing. So I go around sometimes and check on jobs too and make sure they're right, and check in with my clients all the time. Like, I'm constantly ringing people and making sure they're all good, or just checking in. And that's a massive thing too. Like, trust with your clients is huge, making sure that they're happy. Even if they haven't complained, it's just checking in, say, hey, everything all good? You guys are happy with the work that's been done by the staff, blah, blah, blah. And I've had good feedback from that. So props to the boys on the tools, really.
Well, I just want to get that clear for people. That's a good one to mention. So, regular interval client where you're not there, but your team is there, but you're sending them a message like every couple of weeks or once a month saying you're happy with the service, anything we can improve, proactively seeking that feedback.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yep, for sure.
Is there anything else that you give your team to do around jobs? So some people at the end of the job might send a photo to the customer, or what's your sort of checklist for your...
I'll normally get them to send me through photos. Like, we have a WhatsApp group, and I'll get them to send me photos through of the jobs when they're completed, especially if it's a new client. Not all the time with our regular clients, because I trust that my clients would call me if something went wrong or they weren't happy. But especially with a new job, I always get photos sent through my way, and you can tell straight away by the photos how well the job's been done. And I don't think there's a single time where I've actually had to go there and sort it out or send a message back and say it's not right. I think the guys wouldn't send me a photo knowing that it hadn't been done properly, because they know they'll just get it from me, you know, not in a bad way. Like, I'm good. I'm just, they know how fussy I can be. It can probably annoy them sometimes with how fussy I can be about jobs, but there's a reason why we've got good client satisfaction. It's because you have to really be on that. But yeah, that's pretty much how we manage the quality of our work, really. Yeah.
And you obviously do well to win new customers and convert leads. So do you want to walk through your process with that?
So I just think a big thing for me is just communication. Like, it's huge. Know how to talk to your clients and sort of relate to them is pretty good. You normally can pick up whether you're going to convert that lead within the first sort of 5 minutes of meeting somebody. I think I enjoy that part of the job quite a lot. Like, pretty much my main job now is quoting and dealing with clients and stuff. So I still really enjoy that. And I think if you're going to do something or say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Calling the customers back straight away. Like, when I receive leads, I know the biggest thing in training was contact your client straight away. As soon as you receive that lead, get on the blower, give them a call, organize the quote, show up when you say you're going to show up. People deal with other tradies all the time that don't show up on time. And as soon as you're there when you say you're going to be there, you've pretty much already got the job, you know? That's crazy how many businesses out there don't just follow those small little things. And it's massive. It's massive, massive. So yeah, I think part of that helps massively, and just being a nice guy, you know? Turning up and being a nice guy. Yeah.
And I was going to say as well, you mentioned before you shifted more into commercial stuff and then you keep the residential more stuff for your employees, or how do you distribute the work, or how have you decided on that?
So James, who's my best mate, he worked for the council here for, you say, 8 years mowing lawns. And when I started my gym's business, he started his own mowing business, and he bought a little stander mower, like a little 36-inch stander mower. So for our residential stuff, our smaller jobs, he does a lot of that work on his stander, which is awesome. And we've kind of got a mix with our staff doing medium-sized residential work. It's all kind of ride-on stuff anyway, and larger scale lifestyle block maintenance, mowing, garden maintenance, the work. So people will buy a lifestyle block. They've lived in town their whole life. A lot of the time they'll want to have a lifestyle block. They'll move there, but they don't really have an idea on how to sort of maintain it and keep up with it. So we will sort of offer a package to come in and maintain the whole property. So everything outside the front door, we kind of look after, and we've probably got 10 of those quite large properties that we look after. And that's great for our business because we can send our staff to these jobs and they can be there for a whole day, which really helps with moving to and from jobs all the time. You find when you're doing residential work, you spend a lot of time just driving here, there, and everywhere. Whereas the bigger stuff, yes, we've got to have a lot of money and equipment to do those jobs, but it can keep staff going for a whole day. So primarily, we have sort of 2 people on those bigger jobs at a time, and one guy's edging, one guy's mowing, and then they both come together, sort of blow everything down, do all the gardening work together, take the green waste away. So teams of 2, larger scale work works for us really, really well.
Yeah, no, and the package idea is very clever. So when you say, is it just basically, as you said, anything outside the door, you'll maintain for them, maybe on a monthly basis or something like that?
Exactly right. Yeah.
And you mentioned before other services like water blasting, you did everything in the early days with gutter cleaning. Is that something you still do, or you sort of just tried to focus on the large lifestyle properties? Or
it depends on the time of the year. Like winter here is pretty cold and it always slows down a little bit, and it probably slows down, for everybody in winter just with the nature of what we do. But in spring and summer, I pretty much just turn my leads off because unless we've got a new staff member on in spring and summer, we just can't cope with the amount of work that comes in. So spring and summertime, we just focus on looking after our regular clients. But in winter, yes, we will still take leads for gutter cleaning, and we will still water blast someone's patio or do those odd little jobs that we wouldn't normally do in the busier months. And they're great jobs. Like they go into a gutter clean. It's a good little money maker for us, and we enjoy it. It gives us always something different to do as well. So yeah, we still take, I think I'm down for just about every single sort of lead that's available, and we still take those in winter for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And in the early days, how proactive were you in marketing your business? Because not all franchisees do as well as each other, right? Sometimes, and we want everyone to do as well as you, but that's not the case sometimes. So what did you do in your early days to really build that new territory?
In the early days, I feel like I just got lucky with some really good clients, to be completely honest. Like I had leads come through there's probably 2 or 3 clients that we've still got that just provided us with a lot of work in the early days. The leads were great. We were receiving a lot of leads because we don't have many franchisees in our area. So I was new and there were no other new franchisees around. So I was getting all the leads basically at the start. And that was enough for me on my own. I think now that the business has grown and we're at a sort of much bigger size, I've done a lot more marketing and things for my business now than I did back in the start. Like I've joined a BNI, which is a networking group that we have here. When I started with that BNI group, it had 8 members, and I've helped with the peers in the group get that group to 20 members now. And that's a direct referrals group. So that's been really, really good for us. And with 3 different property management companies, they're amazing. We get a lot of work from them, and it's odd jobs, stuff that we wouldn't normally see coming through for a lead. They've been amazing for work, but definitely in the last 8 months to a year, I've done a lot more networking and, referrals type chat groups and things with people to try and bring in specifically work that we're looking for and less the leads. A lot of leads come through and it's residential property. People probably don't look at gyms as the business that's going to come in and maintain their lifestyle block for them. So we've had to put that out there that this is what we do. We do large scale work, commercial work. Just because it's Jim's Mowing and you think in the back of your head it's just a guy with a push mower and a trailer. No, we're much bigger than that now. So a lot of work around making sure people know what we do.
Oh, well done. Well
Mm.
done. And I was going to say, so what's for people to know? Because it's not, it's not, you've had 3 years of a lot of hard work to make your business where it is. So what's been the most challenging aspects of doing what you've been doing?
The most challenging aspect would be staffing,
Start
to
with.
be
I
honest.
think it's a common one when I've asked that question to people with employees.
Yeah, I think you can always rely on yourself, right? As a business owner, you know that you can be there and grind and work hard for your business and do it. But when you've got to rely on other people to help you grow your business and do that, that can be tough. No one's going to work as hard as you. No one's ever going to look after your equipment like you do and, treat your customers the same way you would. So I think staff and making sure that, you've got them working the way you want them to is going to be the hardest thing. Like it definitely causes a lot of stress, but we wouldn't be where we are without the staff we've got. Like we've really got amazing people working for us and we're super lucky to have that and we wouldn't change it. I don't think I could ever go back to being a sole operator with a Jim's Mowing franchise, like in a garden trailer and a push mower like I started. We just couldn't go back there now. So yeah, staff for sure.
And finding good people, you mentioned your best mate before, so that helps.
Yeah.
How about finding the other ones? Is it more just you post locally? Is it just referral, word of mouth?
So yeah, Oscar has been with me for quite a while now. He sort of almost fell on my lap. It was great. I'd had 6 people that I've been talking to like off and on about work, and it was my first employee. So I was like, man, I've got to make sure I get the right guy. And I don't want this to be like this super stressful like turnaround where I employ a staff member and then go, what do I do that for? Like I need to get rid of him. And so it was quite funny because it was a friend of a friend whose dad had moved here from Auckland, and he was a landscape gardener from Auckland looking for work. I was like, no way, like send him my way. So he turned up at my house on a Thursday midday. I didn't even organize him to come here. He saw my truck driving down the road and followed my truck and followed me into my house. It's like, oh, I'm Oscar, I'm blah, blah, blah's dad. And, he said, you're looking for a worker. So that was quite funny. I chatted with him for about half an hour on the Thursday, and I just knew like this guy knows some stuff, like he's done it before. He's good. He's a nice guy. He's bubbly. Friday morning, he started with me. So the next day, that morning, he started with me, and I went and spent 6 weeks with him in the truck. That was the guy I started with. So that fell on my lap. That was amazing how that worked out. And then he met a guy out mowing. They got chatting and he was looking for a job, and yeah, apparently had a good conversation. He seems like a really nice guy and we should give him a shot. So that's how he started, the other guy. And then they're working together in the truck amazingly. And then both my parents, my dad's a bit of a jack of all trades, like one of those guys, can sort of do anything. So he works for me, and my mum's a gardener and has been for, 30 plus years. So mum works for me full time, even though she should be retired.
How does that go? Now,
amazing.
Best mate and your mum.
Yeah, man, it's great. Yeah, it is a family business now. It was never the intention, but, mum's been gardening her whole life, and, I just offered her really good money. I said, you come and work for me and I'll pay you well, like really well, and you can cull some of the clients that you don't want to work for anymore and just come and do the cream stuff for me. So she was stoked and she loves it. She gets along with my clients amazingly well. And and I mean, she does a lot of maintenance work for people. Like she'll go and water like houseplants and stuff for some of my clients, which they love, and she's great. And my dad's just like the backbone of everything we do pretty much. Like if there's anything that we don't have time for or we can't get to, like, yep, I'll do it. Sweet. Gets in there, gets it done. So it's ended up being like a family business almost,
It's great.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Great.
Amazing where people start and when, 2-3 years, what happens. And I was going to say as well with gyms, because there's obviously a lot of misconceptions about being a franchisee out there. You've probably seen them online and I've seen them all online. What are some common ones that you can maybe clear up for people that you maybe see or hear? Because you mentioned one before, which I thought was good about Jim's Mowing just doing residential, which we know it's not the case. People can do commercial body corps, they can do lifestyle blocks, everything, right? So it's far more than just what the brand says.
That's huge. I think a lot of people that have a misconception about buying a franchise, they think you're stuck to just being Jim's Mowing or just doing mowing work. Whereas when I spoke with you and Jim, I think back at training, it was like if you're comfortable and competent to do something and you can provide a good service, there's no reason why, just like any other business, that you can provide that service for somebody. So, I mean, we just did a full house renovation. This sounds crazy, but we just did a full house renovation, like full kitchen install, paint the whole inside of the house, outside, like full cleanup, massive job for a client of ours. And if you told someone that a Jim's Mowing franchisee is showing up to do a house renovation, you just think that's crazy. But we haven't let that sort of stop us from taking on those jobs, and we've managed to do them at a really high quality standard. So that's a big thing. We're not just mowing lawns. We do a lot of other work. We kind of branded ourselves around like Jim's Mowing and Jim's Landscaping here because we do a lot of landscaping work, new gravel driveways, a lot of like, especially springtime, a lot of new lawns and things. So we do full rip out brand new lawns for people, which is cool. And it's a great part of our business. A lot of people don't think that. They think you just come and mow the lawn. That's all you do. You don't do any of that. Like a lot of lawn maintenance work. Do you guys maintain lawns? Like, do you guys fertilize and do lawn treatments and stuff? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to do it and you want to learn and do that, then do it, because it's a great little extra earner for your business. And there's a lot of companies out there that, are doing that work. Then they may not be providing a good service for the client, and the client will come to you and say, like, I've got this other company doing my lawn maintenance. What do you think? And it's like, well, the lawn's not looking very good, so they can't be doing a great job. So we try and sort of cover all bases if we can. I think another thing would be, and the biggest thing I thought before I started with Jim's was I'd see the trailers driving around or parked up in my area, and I would think, how the hell are these guys making any money? They're just mowing residential lawns. There's probably some of them out there that aren't making a lot of money and they are just cruising, and that might be what they want to do. But for me, I couldn't wrap my head around how you could make money mowing lawns, thinking, like you're charging $50 for a lawn or $80 for a lawn. How are these guys making money? But for me, I always wanted to do the bigger scale stuff, and I always wanted to make it work. If you set your mind to it and you really want a business that'll work, you can do anything, What
about the learning off that extra stuff? Because that might be a thing that put off some people, is like they don't know how to do it, so they just say no. Whereas you sound like you've been asked to do things and you've just figured it out, and then you've got the knowledge, and then you that's a service you can then.
Honestly, dude, because you get asked 3 or 4 times, you think, well, maybe I should be offering this service to my clients, or people are obviously after this. They want this service, so I need to learn. And Daryl's been really good, my father-in-law, because his lawn's immaculate at his house. It's like pristine. And so I'd talk to him. So what are you using? What products do you use? How do you do it? What's the ratio for fertilizer? What's this? What's that? And probably annoyed the hell out of him. And then redid my lawn at home. Like, I've done it twice now. The first time I didn't do it properly because I was learning, and I've redone it last spring. It's like all these little things you learn by just doing the work. Go and help your mate. Go and resow your mate's lawn. Like, they're not going to care if you're not charging them much and you make a job of it. Like, you learn as you go. And I think for us, like, my staff don't do any of that work. They don't do any of the lawn maintenance work because they don't know. Whereas I've learned and I know what to use and using the right products. So for me, massive part of the business. And I have learned as I've gone, ask a lot of questions. A lot of franchisees out there that probably aren't doing that stuff that should get into it, because it's a good little moneymaker.
Yeah, it just sounds like if you keep improving your business all the time, which I think is a great mindset to have, and that's the mindset obviously Jim has with his stuff. So what's your goal, Cameron? Are you just trying to grow revenue, or you want to just do as much as possible? What are you hoping to do over the next, say, couple of years?
I think at the moment, like, I'm really happy with how we are now, but in the next couple of years, I think, I don't know, it's scary, but I'd like to maybe, the position that I'm in now with dealing with the clients and the quotes and everything, have somebody be able to step in and do that side of the business, so that my life's busy. It's still hectic. I spend a lot of time in the business when I was hoping that by now I could kind of almost step away, but I can't, because there's a lot of back end stuff to do and I'm still doing all the admin. I think in the next couple of years, I'd like to have maybe 2 more staff and have someone sort of managing the business for me a little bit more, like an operations manager or something that can kind of, take care of some of those stresses that you get with business that you kind of don't need to have. Like, you can delegate some of that stuff out. That's the goal for the next 2 years, and just keep growing, like sticking to what we want to be doing, which is the bigger jobs, the lifestyle blocks, the big maintenance work, kind of get away from, I know it sounds like stupid saying get away from residential work because it's our kind of bread and butter. But with the way the business is growing, we kind of need to move towards this bigger stuff now because that's what we're sort of set up for. So just keep growing and heading in that direction and keeping staff on if we can and putting good staff in place, keeping our quality high and just looking after people, like providing a really good service for our clients. It's like the most important thing. No matter what else happens, like just making sure that we are setting a good name for ourselves,
And I was going to say as well, then, what would you sort of say? Because there'll be a lot of people who watch this and get inspired by it to do what you're doing. But what would you say to them is your best bit of business advice for a new starter in gyms, or just the new business in general?
Don't say no. Do those jobs that you aren't sure about. And if you're not too sure and you're struggling, just ask questions, reach out, get some help, bring a franchisee. I would go out of my way to help a new franchisee now, knowing that I didn't know a lot when I started and my franchisor did a lot for me. But ask those questions and make the job happen, because you don't want to be saying no to those jobs where they could be earning you an income, and you're only going to learn over time. If you start saying no at the start, you'll keep saying no forever, I think.
Great advice. And I'm going to get my video editor to put in the clip with you we had at training and sort of from where you are now, because I think it's amazing. You look really fit now as well, which is fantastic.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm the idea to mention that earlier, but you look very happy and you're very fit from the looks of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know about fit. My mates will probably argue with that, but yeah, I mean, look, it's been a great lifestyle change for us. I'm used to an 8 till 5 grind in a workshop. That's what I've done for the last sort of before gyms for the 12 or 13 years, like stuck with a roller door down from 8 till 5. So for me, the lifestyle change has probably been the happiest part of it all. Like I'm out and about and I'm driving around, cruising around. Some days I'm kind of like, if I go into a big commercial job and I'm sitting on my rider, I'm kind of like almost laughing to myself, like, how did I end up in this position? A lot of people are probably like, he's just sitting on a ride-on all day, like enjoying himself. And I am. There's obviously a lot that goes on in the background to get to that point, but I love it, eh? Like it's still really, really awesome feeling just to be out there doing that and not stuck somewhere in a workshop all day, working for someone,
I love it, mate. It's great. It's great to hear you talk about. But
yeah, man.
Your advice has been fantastic, and I just think it's amazing how for 3 years ago and how you've just progressed your business. And the thing that I've taken away, and I hope other people do, how proactive you are. But obviously, just in your business, just constant improvement. And I think that's the key with franchisees, just to constantly look at how you're improving your business. And it's almost like you're gamifying it in a way, but you want to see how big you can get. And you've got all this great mindset, which I think is awesome. And I hope it rubs off on other people listening and get inspired by it, mate, because it's a great success story. It really is. You're only 32, started at 29 and nearly $500,000 revenue business in NZ in your area outside of Auckland, which I think is an amazing achievement for someone so young. So well done on your success. And great to hear Daryl's been a good franchisor as well and helping you out. I hope he would be. I'm sure he's great. So, yeah, he's a great fella. So I'm really glad to hear that and be really happy for your success, mate. It's going to be awesome to see you in a year or two and hopefully you reach out to Jim and you say, I've cracked $1 million or something like that.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
awesome. I think you will. No worries.
Yeah. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you for listening to the episode of the More Than Just Mowing podcast by Jim's Mowing. If you do need help with your local gardening expert, please give us a call on 131 546 for Australia, 0800 454 654 for New Zealand, or head to jimsmowing.com.au or jimsmowing.co.nz. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to leave us a review as well, wherever you consume your podcast. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.